If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Manny Bermudez on the program. He's going to take on Casey Kenney August 17th at UFC 241. This is a heck of a fight. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to have the Bermuda Triangle on the show. How are you, Manny?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And I know after you submitted Benito Lopez in February, you were hoping to be that guy to get that Urijah Faber fight in Sacramento. Was that fight ever discussed at all? Like, I know the UFC threw a few ideas at Faber. Crone Gracie, Cub Swanson were a couple that come to mind, but I wasn't sure if there was any talks at all getting you in there.
Yeah, no, they actually, the reason that I started wanting to get that fight was because they came to me asking me if I wanted to fight him. And then, that was such a big opportunity that I knew I had to say yeah. I took it, and then they didn't send me a contract or anything like that. And then the next thing I saw was that they picked Ricky Simone instead.
What did you think of that? Yeah, what did you think of all that? Were you, I'm sure you watched the fight, kind of knowing that you were close to kind of getting that golden goose, so to speak. Did you watch that fight? And what did you think of how it all went down?
I mean, Uriah looked good for where he's at right now, but I was like, damn, like I wish that was me in there. I wish I would put on a better fight. But I mean, props to him though. He's a legend. He's tough guy. Being here this long, it's super impressive, super interesting to see him come back. But hopefully, me and him still got a shot at fighting each other.
Well, I mean, you still get to fight in California. You get on a huge card in a little over 2 weeks. You got DC and Stipe running it back. You got freaking Nate Diaz coming back to fight Anthony Pettis. It's still a pretty good consolation prize, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy card to be on. I assume I'll be on the prelims and stuff like that. But even just being around all those people, I know they got Yoel too fighting. They get like you said, DC and Nate Diaz versus Pettis. That's a crazy fight.
That is a crazy fight. The whole card's real good,
Yeah.
I kind of felt bad for those fighting on, UFC 240 over the weekend because 239 was loaded. You got John Jones.
Yeah.
241 is just stacked. And 240 was, had a good main event, but, it was a little thin other than that. But
it's like a sandwich.
Yeah, right. In terms of, what's coming up for you in a couple weeks, you call for Faber. They offered you that fight, didn't come to fruition. Are you happy with the way things played out? I mean, are you happy getting a guy like Casey Kenney? Because it's sort of interesting timing because the UFC clearly sees a lot in both of you guys. And it's pretty rare that two guys on the come up like yourselves are matched up this quickly.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good because now we get to see what each of us is made of, and now you get two like up and coming guys that really, are ready to put everything down in order to get to that next step, going at it. So I think me and him are going to put down, pretty good, solid undercard if you guys are tuning into that one.
Do you know where you're going to be at in the card? Are you in the first set of prelims on ESPN?
No idea right now. I assume ESPN, but you never know. They might not put us up there. Maybe Fight Pass.
Yeah, I think that'll be on ESPN. That'd be crazy if this fight's on Fight Pass. How has the training been going? How are you feeling as we're 16 days away from this fight?
Good, man. It's always the toughest part of fight camp. You're just dealing with all the stuff that that you go through in a fight camp. You're training hard. You're cutting weight heavy. You're doing the whole grind. Feel good though. Feel good. Confident.
Casey's, had a really strong year. He captured 2 LFA titles in 2 different weight classes. And then 8 days after winning one of those titles, he fought Ray Borg and got his win in his UFC debut. Is he a guy you'd been paying attention to at all before he was brought to your attention for this fight?
No, I honestly hadn't really heard of him. And then I looked, because, I look at the bantamweights and all that. And then I believe he fought Borg at flyweight, right?
No, that was a bantamweight.
Was it bantamweight? Oh, well, with a lot of these 25ers, I just assume that they're going to go back down 25. I don't really picture them, staying up there. So I really wasn't looking at them. But, those guys are so fast. They're so, mobile, all that stuff. That honestly was the first time. But then looking at his record, LFA champ, beat Ray Borg in his first fight in, 12-1. The kid's very impressive.
You spent most of your career fighting here in Massachusetts for Cage Titans. I know you had a couple fights for CES as a professional as well, but most of your career here in Mass was with Cage Titans, and we've seen the talents that organization has produced over the years. Recently, we saw Randy Costa have a great fight with Brandon Davis in his UFC debut. What sorts of things did you learn about the fight game, about the sport, about yourself as an athlete, and where you could go in the sport competing for an organization like that?
No, they definitely, brought me a wide variety of opponents. It brought me a lot of different styles. They grew me well in order to be ready to take on this next level of competition. I think it's all about being able to step up in a way that you're not jumping head first into the deep end. You want to take your fights intelligently as you're coming up, but then at some point you want to be ready for those UFC level guys. I feel like having 11 fights professional locally really helped me to be ready for all the because when I first fought Davey Grant or when I fought Benito, I'm looking at these records. I think Davey was 10-3, something like that, and then looking back at at the guys that beat as a pro, I've fought plenty of guys that were similar records to that. So me getting into that cage and seeing those records, it wasn't anything I was uncomfortable with. It was something that I was very familiar with, so I felt good.
Getting to know Casey in preparation for this fight, what sorts of things does he do really well in your opinion? What sorts of things do you think you'll be able to expose in a couple of weeks?
He's very confident, he's very scrappy, and he's very composed. But that's a blessing and a curse. It goes a little later. He'll be able to keep that pace up. But you get somebody coming at you, kind of crazy, changing the pace, this. It's gonna be kind of a wild fight. And I feel like the way I fight's kind of reckless, anyways. And then he fights composed, but he also he's got a little bit of swinger. If you get in his face, he'll bite down that mouthpiece and stuff. So I'm interested to see how this one's gonna go. I'm ready for it all, but I think it's gonna be a fun fight.
I spoke to Casey the other day, and I asked him if he's been impressed by what you've been doing. He said, yeah, he's been impressed. He said your ground game obviously is very impressive, but he said essentially if this fight gets out of the first round, you're going to be in some trouble. And he has a lot of confidence in the opening 5 minutes as well. But in terms of how he reacts to your gas tank and your fighting style, how do you respond to that?
Well, then get out the first round then. So we'll see what happens after that.
Do you see this fight getting out of the first round? It's an exciting one. It's one that I got excited for. Are you planning on disappointing a lot of people outside of your fans and supporters on August 17th?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm super excited for this fight. I think it's gonna be a great one. I love this whole even that little trip thing. It's fun going back and forth like that, and then once we finally get in there and throw it down. I have good energy about this fight right now. I feel really good about it.
We talked about Faber, and it's funny because Casey said, he's definitely not looking past you in any way. He knows it's going to be a really tough fight. He's focused on the 17th. But I asked him, if he were to beat you, where would that put him in the overall landscape of this division? He said,
"Don't take Faber from me."
That's what he wants. He said he wants Faber. He wants to take Faber away from you. Is that what you're looking for as well? If you win, Faber's the guy. That seems to be the next logical step for you.
Yeah, now I gotta put him out in the first round so I get Faber. But no, you never know. You can plan ahead all you want, but the UFC's probably got a plan for Urijah. Uriah's got a plan for himself. UFC got a plan for me, all that stuff. So, I keep asking for these guys, but I know how the business works.
As I'm sure you're aware, being a Massachusetts guy, the UFC is heading to Boston on October 18th. Are you hoping to be able to get through this one a little bit very unscathed and have a quick turnaround to fight in Boston in a couple of months, or is that not something you're really thinking about right now?
Yeah, no, for sure. Ideally, in a perfect world, yeah, that's what I want. I want to go in there and walk out perfectly fine and and then get a good fight down in Boston. But you can't count on that. You can't bank on that because then you start looking past opponents and this and that. So I'm just gonna do my thing, and then if it works out, it works out. If not, I'll be at UFC Boston as a fan.
There you go. And then in terms of how this fight plays out, because again, we don't want to look past what's happening in a couple of weeks. When you visualize this all playing out, how does it play out? How do you get your hand raised in a couple of weeks?
Well, now since he's talking shit, it's gonna be in the first round. It's gonna be very quickly in the first round. The fight doesn't even start, and I choke him out. But I mean, whatever way the win's gotta come, I'll be ready for it.
I'm not trying to stir the pot here. I just recently talked to him. He wasn't talking crap. He respects you and thinks this is going to be a great fight just like the rest of us.
It's all in good spirit.
All right. Manny Bermudez joining the show. Coming off of a podcast appearance, he gets ready to return to the octagon in a little over 2 weeks against Casey Kenney at UFC 241. Great talk with you, Manny. Before I let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow along with you on this journey via the social media world. Any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, the floor is yours.
All right. My Instagram is at Manny Bermudez. My Twitter is _ Bermudez. My Venmo is Money Bermudez. I don't have a LinkedIn. What else is there usually? And Facebook, Manny Bermudez too.
There you go.
All that stuff.
One other question I talked to Casey about, because very similar to talking to you, is that he's very positive. He's got a big smile on his face a lot. He's very composed. He's an excitable guy, but he's just got this constant smile on his face. And you have a very calm, cool, collected demeanor. You seem very happy. You seem very excited, and the smile on your face is consistent. Where does that all come from? Where does all this positivity, where does all this calmness come from?
It might be the CTE. I don't know. No. We have to, we have to training, fighting all day. So I think it's nice when somebody isn't swinging at us for a change. I'm sure Casey's got the same attitude.
That is hilarious, man. I appreciate the time, Manny. All the best to you for the rest of this camp and in the fight in Anaheim.
Hey, thank you very much, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
talking to you.